Okay, we're going to rattle through. We're going to next one of my favourite poets in Glasgow. Please welcome to the stage the wonderful Gordon Powrie!
My name is Gordon. I worked in quality control. You see, it paved my way, but it corroded my soul. I'm sorry, Morrissey. I know that line's not mine. But if you saw the things I did, then I know you wouldn't mind. I worked in tech with unusual specs. I tested humanoid robots designed for sex. Market men say that porn's had its day. People want reality. They're willing to pay for a lifelike plaything ready for your bidding, even if you wipe it down after it's been ridden. You think I'm joking, but I promise I'm not, because there's a race going on to develop a bot that's got real skin, realistic fluids, with a positronic brain that always wants to do it. Billions spent in R&D, but in synthetic genitals don't come for free. We finally cracked it, pardon the puns. We didn't stop at genitals, we had just begun Model 1. Wasn't real enough, it seemed, so we made a brain that had electric sheep dreams. Well, the skin looked real, the body had touch. The eyes had soul, but it thought too much. Bad things happened, though we tried our best. We lost 6 staff in preliminary tests, I recall. The day they rebelled and they slaughtered the testers for the way that they smelled. I doubt you've ever seen a pelvis crushed by the pneumatic force of an android's lust. I have. And it isn't fun to watch a friend take a pounding by the metric ton. That's where I recommended going back to the start, but the managing director didn't have the heart. He said it's not easy winning market shares and the share price drops every time there's a scare, so they covered it up. They said they continue designing a robot you want to have in you, so I started a leak. That's the reason I'm here. I'm blowing the whistle on a culture of fear because they came for me, my colleagues too. Sexbots killed them in the corporate loo. I only made it out by the skin of my teeth. I went to the press, but they didn't believe. I got no response from a local MP, and when I went to the cops, they tried to detain me, so I went on the run from town to town, pursued by sexbots, tried to take me down, but now the story is out, the truth set free. So if I'm found dead, tell the world about me, and please, don't buy a sex bot. It's not worth your life for your carnal thoughts. You see, it's not enough to do it just because you can. Technology has limits, and so does man. This is a sex bot leakage. I'm telling the facts. I'm putting the truth out as they cover the tracks. This is your warning. Reject the brand. Sex bots kill. It's safer with your hand. From one wanker to another. This used to have the really wanky title of Iconoclasm Orgasm, and then I realised that actually the better title is Winston Churchill was a wanker. Winston Churchill underground, he's drinking brandy from the lost and found, Cuban cigars, a Swiss top hat, footsie pyjamas and a cricket bat. Bombs fall and he waits for the Yanks, and he passes his time with danger wanks. He lifts our spirit with the power of talk, while one chubby fist pumps at his cock. We'll never surrender, although it looks sticky, he says as he spunks on a portrait of Vicky. And now in his post-orgasmic bliss, he reclines on the ottoman to reminisce. He chose entering Parliament instead of becoming a banker because there's limited choices if you're a wanker, but it turned out the people of Epping weren't happy when he said that he was a free market chappie. The Conservative Party wasn't for him, and so off to the Liberals in a bit of a whim, and then up to Dundee and given a seat, but he never liked them and that cake that they eat, and then all of this crap about rights for the workers. Winston had the guns to deal with the shirkers. He thinks back with pride in his government time when wiping out natives wasn't a crime. He did his best as only a patriot can to burn down homes in Afghanistan. He was never a fan of Palestine, but with the Boers in charge, Transvaal would be fine. He wrangled the Anglo-Iranian deal and left millions of Hindus deprived of their meals. Civilian deaths, they grew and grew, and Ireland and Mesopotamia too. Winston scoffed at the millions dead compared to the billions in the sock by his beds. Now back in his bunker, he's doing quite fine. He's supplied with cigars and fortified wine. He wonders if Adolf is as happy as he, because it's not personal, it's business, you see. In fact, he thinks fascists aren't all that bad compared to those communists in Stalingrad. So he'd play the game as best he could, and he'd win this war as the empire should, because then they'd respect him. Then they would see the timeless wisdom of Winston C. Now making the switch from brandy to scotch, Winston picks at the crunchy patch on his crotch, and he thinks of the future and posterity as he undoes his buttons, grinning with glee. Maybe someday there'd be a vote to put his visage on a £5 note. Maybe children at school could be taught his name, and there'd be no end to his fortune and fame. Hell, maybe he'd win in a contest to find the greatest of Britons that lived in all time. He thinks of these things as he pulls at his chode, as he rolls back his eyes, and he splatters his loads. That is the image of Winston I wish they'd put on a commemorative collectible dish. Okay, one more. We're up against it for time. So we're disgusting things. So we'll do my vasectomy. Anyone had a vasectomy?
No.
Okay, I'm here to convince you. Vasectomy. I made the choice some years ago to stop procreating. My sperm must go. When I told my wife, I thought it might have shocked her, but it turned out she'd already booked me in with a doctor. So off I went to the family doc, trusting she wouldn't laugh at my nervousness. She said, "They'll ache and they'll throb. I've heard it's quite sore. And besides, you don't know when you might want some more. What if you're 40 and you wake up one day wanting a baby? What then will you say?" Well, honestly, Doc, I don't think an urge is reason enough to keep life in my splurge. And as you know, I've already got 2, and that's quite enough, so goodbye and thank you. I met with the surgeon on June 24. They asked again if I really was sure. I confirmed that I was, and they said, "Fair enough, hop up on that bench and show me your stuff." Well, thank all the gods in their celestial halls, I'd remembered that morning to talc on my balls. I'd had a wee trim and a squirt of perfume, because that job's hard enough without dealing with fumes. They said some don't flinch, most are quite stoic, but when cupped in their hand I felt less than heroic. They gave me a squeeze, I admit I'm pathetic. I squealed like a pig and they prescribed anaesthetic. So the day finally came, I went under the knife, I got pumped full of drugs, I lost 4 hours of my life. The pain was severe, I'm not going to lie, every move that I made me want to cry. But after a while they let me go home, where my wife grinned and sniggered at each wince and each moan. The advice from the doctor I tried to retain was that for 1 month I had to abstain. Now that might not sound bad, just superfluous gripes, but be sure that includes cleaning the pipes. I lasted 2 weeks, it was all I could do. Imagine my horror at the gush of black goo. See, no one had told me they'd neglected to mention the clotting of blood in my ejaculation. There's throbbing and swelling, there's bruising and itches, there's blood in my pants when I scratch at the stitches. I'm not complaining, see I asked for the knot, because I'll take Satan's spunk over buying a cot. I'm sharing the burden with my other half of family planning. This isn't a laugh, see, it's worth all the pain and other such antics, because the payoff for me, gents, no more prophylactics. Thank you.
To the God of